Hello.
Hey everyone.
Welcome back to the Night List with Sarah
And Sabrina. And we've got a couple special guests in the studio this evening. We've got Spiky again.
on our audio.
Okay.
My mic is muted.
And we've got my lovely boyfriend Jack in the studio as well.
Love him.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy day so far.
Mm-hmm.
It is currently 45 minutes past our scheduled recording time.
Yeah, we had a bit of an issue with the people before us.
Yeah, but we're past that
taking their
now.
time. But we've moved on and we're rising above it.
Yes,
so
we are. Yes, we are. And there's a rush today because Jack and I are going to the final day of EDC this evening.
yeah.
And we've been there for the past 2 days. Oh my gosh. And because I was thinking about the podcast and being at EDC, and they are such different entities.
Totally.
EDC is like going crazy. Everybody's on drugs. There's lights. It's hard. And then we come in here and we sit in here and there's very casual lighting.
It's like little fairy lights and it's like dark and so chill.
Right. But we have a theme scheduled for this episode. We decided on it halfway through the week. And we're doing songs from the 70's.
Yes.
So,
Should I get into it?
yeah, take us away.
All right, so the song that I chose for the 70's is Going to California by Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
So a little bit of background on Led Zeppelin. For those of you that don't know, so it's 4 people. The vocalist is Robert Plant, the guitarist is Jimmy Page, bass and keyboard is John Paul Jones, and the drummer is John Bonham. They formed in 1968, and they released 9 albums in like 11 years.
Wow.
Or 12 years. Or
Pump it out.
Whatever. I don't know the exact math. Yeah, their first like 3 albums came out from 1969 to 1970, which is crazy.
Wow.
Because,
That's insane.
Yeah, because this song is on their 4th album, and it came out in 1971. And I was like, how is that possible that their 4th album came out in 71 when their first one was 1969? But they just like...
They were pumping it out.
Yeah.
It's an
Wow.
average of like 15 months an album.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
crazy.
Crazy for
Insane.
a whole project.
Well,
Some people spend like 10 years.
Yeah.
was this in the last episode that we were talking about what defines an album? It has to be
Yeah.
a certain listening time, so it's got to be like more than half an hour?
Yeah, I think it has to be more than like 30 minutes and
Yeah.
more than 6 songs.
Right. So,
Yeah.
pumping it out.
Just crazy.
Cool.
And so they were originally called the New Yardbirds, which I'm pretty sure was Jimmy Page. I don't remember. It was either Robert Plant or Jimmy Page, who was in a band before called the Yardbirds, and then he formed his own called the New Yardbirds. But they got Led Zeppelin from Keith Moon, who's the drummer in The Who. And he joked that the band would go down like a lead balloon, just like talking to, I think it was Jimmy Page, and they were just like messing around, and he said that it would like go down like a lead balloon, and then they just like exaggerated it even more to be
Right.
like a Zeppelin. And then Keith Moon was like, wouldn't it be so fun to have a band called Led Zeppelin? And that's how they got the name.
And that is totally sick.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, they haven't had like an approved, like band approved documentary until 2021. Like it just came
Wow.
out. I didn't watch it, but it's called Becoming Led Zeppelin. And they didn't want to release a documentary on it because they were like super concerned about their image and they wanted things to be portrayed the right way. And Jimmy Page, who like he like talks a lot, like he's one of like the main people. He was saying that a lot of the documentaries that people like offered to them just didn't focus as much on the music as he wanted, and he felt like they didn't represent it well. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
That like they started in the 70's and they're just now getting a documentary.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I feel like with a lot of like the like classic like rock bands,
yeah.
they have so many documentaries and stuff out about them, but
Do you know how many of the band members are still alive?
I know that John Bonham died in the 90s. They were just like drinking really heavily and he died.
Yeah, rock star.
And I think they said that he had like 40 shots of vodka, like 40, like, you know,
Yeah.
40 shots worth of vodka in his system when he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rock and roll if
And
I've
I'm
ever heard it.
Pretty sure the other 3 are still alive. I could be wrong about that, but
Sure.
yeah. So that's all I have for Led Zeppelin, and this is also one of my dad's favorite bands.
Okay, and what's the
So-
song called?
Going to California. It's off of Led Zeppelin 4.
Alrighty, let's get into it.
Spend my days with a woman unkind, smoke my stuff and drink all my wine. Made up my mind, make a new start, going to California with an aching in my heart. Someone told me there's a girl out there with love in her eyes and flowers in her hair. Took my chances on a big jet plane. Never let them tell you that we're all the same. Oh, the sea was red and the sky was gray. I wondered how tomorrow could ever follow today. Mountains and the canyons start to tremble and shake. The children of the sun begin to wake. Watch out. It seems that the wrath of the gods got a punch on the nose and it's starting to flow. I think I might be sinking. Throw me a line if I reach it in time. I'll meet you up there and the path runs straight. To find a queen without a king. They say she plays guitar and cries and sings. La la la. Ride a white mare in the footsteps of dawn, trying to find a woman who's never, never, never been born. Standing on the hill in the mountain of dreams, telling myself it's not as hard as it seems.
Well, that was incredible. I feel like I break into the talking after the song every time in the same way. But so we picked songs from different ends of the 70s spectrum, which I'm really happy for. I can't say I've listened to much Led Zeppelin. You know, everybody has a Led Zeppelin T-shirt, but nobody
Right.
listens to them. I don't have one, but I thought that was that was not what I was expecting.
Okay, well, this is one of their, like, they have a few songs like throughout their albums that are more acoustic like this,
Yeah.
and those are like some of my favorites.
Yeah.
I do love like a lot of their music,
Mm-hmm.
but this is one that I've been listening to this song, like it's been on my playlist since I was like 14.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those to me that never gets old. The guitar in it is beautiful.
Yeah. I was thinking about the guitar. It felt like my brain kind of processed it in two different ways. One was like, I'm in a grassy field
Totally.
in California, and like there are butterflies flying around, and that like intersection of the guitar sounds is like looking this way and there's one butterfly here, and that's kind of one of the guitar sounds coming in, and then I look this way and there's another one and there's a bee, and like that's all the different little like spears of
Yeah.
guitar. And I also imagined it like if I was looking at the night sky and you see like one star twinkle over here and another twinkle over there, how that like that intersection of the guitars is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the middle there, when he takes a whole different approach with his vocals.
Yeah, I really like that part. And I think that sometimes when like verses like that are so different, sometimes it doesn't like mesh well with the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that one, like, since the lyrics, because the guitar is so like beautiful and like
Yeah.
flowery,
It's like a harp
and like
almost.
yeah, but the lyrics throughout the whole song are like about him being sad and heartbroken.
Yeah, yeah.
And like dreaming of like finding a like someone that treats him better,
Yeah.
basically. And so I feel like it fits with the song.
Yeah. When he takes it there, he's just like, understand my
And
emotion
it's
here.
so good. His vocals are crazy.
Yeah, really, really interesting.
Yeah.
All over the place. It's definitely a voice that everybody has heard,
Oh,
and it's very
totally.
recognizable, but I hadn't really heard it in this way before.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
So your dad showed you this song?
Well, kind of. Not really. Like, so my dad, he loves to learn their songs on guitar. So
Sick.
with a lot of their songs, like, I recognize them only through, like, the main guitar. Because, like, I'm like, oh, like, my dad has practiced this song before. Like,
How cool.
I recognize a lot of their music through that. This one, I don't really remember how I found it because I was 14. So
Right.
it was probably from my parents playing it. And then, like, I was like, oh, let me get into Led Zeppelin. And this was, like, the first
Yeah.
one that I, like, found and really loved.
Yeah, that's great.
And I feel like it's just, like, a beautifully sad song. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, it's not, like, overwhelmingly sad, but it still has that. Like, it has a good balance, I think.
It's like heartbreaking, but the sun is still shining.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And another thing that's interesting about this song is that, so apparently it was written about Joni Mitchell,
Okay.
who's like a singer. I don't know. She was from like the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert Plant and Jimmy Page were both in love with her.
Oh
So they
my
both wrote
goodness.
this song about her. And there are like references, like the lyric to Find a Queen Without a King. She has a song that is, I don't remember, but the title is like related to that.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
What a little story.
Yeah.
Imagine having a song written by two huge rock stars, both feeling the same way about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you were choosing between quite a few songs for
Yes,
this.
I was. It was very hard for me to narrow it down.
Yeah. Were the other ones in a similar place, or were they kind
Not really.
of... Okay.
There was another Led Zeppelin song, but it was very different and very much more like electric guitar heavy. There were a lot of guitar solos, but that are so good.
Yeah.
I was gonna do Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
It's such a good song.
Yeah. Well, we can always... do that.
Well, that was the 7-minute one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
A little too long for the podcast.
Maybe we can have a special episode on really long songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really nice. It was not what I was expecting at all. And it did feel very post-60s sounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You know, I could see like the flower prints and the hairstyles walking through that song.
Oh, and I was also gonna mention one thing I like about the lyrics of this song is like just like the natural imagery of like the whole thing, and I feel like that goes along really well with the guitar, like the way that the guitar sounds.
Yeah. The sea was red and the sky was gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Really nice.
that's my song.
That was a great one. And I feel like that song made sense for you to bring in.
Yeah.
It was a little reminiscent of the first song we brought by the 70's.
Really?
Kind of. I think it was just I could put myself in that place.
Yeah.
Both of those songs.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the same way, but yeah. I really liked it.
All right. Do you want to get into your song?
Yes, I do. So, my song is called If You Want Me to Stay by Sly and the Family Stone. It was released in 1970, and its genres are funk, soul, rock, and psychedelic.
Okay.
And apparently this band is like one of the founders of this kind of genre, this like psychedelic funkiness. So I thought that was pretty cool. And this song has been covered by all kinds of people, but the most notable ones that I saw were Etta James and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh my God.
So maybe if you don't know this version of the song, you'll recognize it somehow. I don't have so much to say about the band. They had a bunch of songs that were all popping in the 60s and 70s. But my mom showed me this song, and I think it makes so much sense that she showed it to me. Like, with her personality.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, crazy and nutty. And
I'm excited.
yeah, I think we should play it, and then I'll talk about, the lyrics a little
All
more.
right. Cool.
If you want me to stay, I'll be around today to be available for you to see. I'm about to go, and then you'll know for me to stay, I got to be me. You'll never be in doubt, that's what it's all about. You can't take me for granted and smile. Count on days I'm gone, forget reaching by phone, because I promise I'll be gone for a while. When you see me again, I hope that you have been the kind of person that you really are now.
This is really funky.
Gotta get in straight. How could I ever be late when you're my woman taking up my time? Oh, how could you ever allow? I wonder how I would get out of pocket for fun. How when you know that you're never number two. Number one gonna be number one. I'll be good. I wish I could get this message over to you now.
The piano solo goes hard.
When
Yeah.
you shape me again, I hope that you haven't been the kind of person you really are now. I'll be so good. I wish I could get the message over to you now. I'm through, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That song is so good.
That was completely different, but I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so funky.
Right? I've been saying, I think this must have been the beginning of it, but I've been saying for years, like, if you can describe a song as funky or groovy, I'll probably like it.
Yeah.
And I live
Definitely.
by that.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I brought it to my mom that we were doing songs from the 70s this week, and she goes, well, you know what you have to do. Yeah, I just think that the way he's like screaming and he's dropping his voice as low as it could get, and he's all over the place. And then there's like the piano and that heavy bass all the way through.
And there's like kind of a melody throughout it, but also kind of not, because he just like takes it in a different direction each time.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Right?
Yeah.
So you may be able to, infer this, but the singer, his name is Sly Stone, and he's talking to his lover.
That's a sick name, by the
Sly
way.
Stone.
Yeah.
Right? So he's talking to his lover, and he's, there are points where he's like, I love you. Like, number one is going to be number one. Like, you're never going to be my number two. But then if you can't let me do what I need to do, if you can't let me be me, I have to go. I can't, And apparently this song comes from, he had an argument with the woman who would become his wife, and he like wrote her an apology, or it was kind of an apology and kind of also this message where he's like, if you don't let me do my thing, like, this isn't gonna work. And I think it's just funny because I don't know, there's a bit of anger in the song.
Yeah.
Because it's not sad. It could be sad where it's like, if you, like, I need to do my thing or else I need to leave, and it could be really sad, but it's also angry because it's, I love you and I want to be with you, but you're not doing what I need you to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, that song, it kind of like, I think it changed things for me.
Yeah.
I think my mom probably showed it to me when I was in high school. So it was after I had started, I had become aware of music and I had started building my own taste in music, but this like sidetracked me totally. And
like, in what way? Like, it just got you into more like
funky, real, older music. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this song feels like so my mom, just funky and all over the place and screaming.
Screaming.
Yeah, I like that we came out of two different corners of the 70s.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too, because I feel like there's so many different ways we could have gone with it, and like we could have ended up in the same area, but we kind of got like a good mix of like
yeah. But funk music,
dude.
Yeah. Like, I could walk around to that song. I feel like I say that kind of about a lot of songs. But yeah,
but
really
that's
colorful.
important.
Is.
That's a good thing. That means that it's a song that like you just vibe to. I don't know.
It's got a badass album cover too. It's
Oh my
Sly
God.
Stone himself doing a jump kick in the air.
Yo, what?
That's sick. With those boots.
Oh yeah,
With those boots and the afro and the
and the album is called
glittery
Fresh.
pants.
Yeah,
That's so fresh.
yeah.
Wow.
And I was gonna bring this song anyways. So when we were kind of talking about bringing a theme, I knew it was from the 70s, so I said we'll do one from the 70s.
That's kind of how I was with the Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to bring one.
Right.
Like,
yeah, and this was such a good
especially
opportunity.
for Jeff.
Exactly.
I had to.
Shout out Jeff. And while
Shout
we're
out
at
to
it,
Jeff.
shout out LA.
Yep. And also shout out Katya.
Yeah, shout out to my mom. Shout out
Yeah.
Katya. We love you and we know you're listening.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
So this kind of brings me into something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
These songs are from the past,
Uh-huh.
but I've been thinking a lot about the future.
Yeah.
And I kind of mean the concept of the future,
Okay.
right? So I feel like this concept of the future, that everything is chrome, there are jetpacks, self-driving cars, holograms. I feel like there's this prescribed idea of the future that we have.
Right. Like, totally the Jetsons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally the Jetsons. But we are so living in that future.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it for us.
No. And it partly, I think that's because the future is being lived by the top 1%.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is 100% living in that idealized idea of the future.
For sure.
Right? And so, and I kind of got to thinking about this because I was thinking about fashion. And I watched quite a few things of, you know, people who know things about fashion reviewing these, like the Met Gala and stuff like that.
Right.
Totally crazy future clothes all the time. And there was that Bella Hadid thing.
I have that written down
Really?
right here. The Bella Hadid dress. Yes.
Yeah, so she got sprayed down with the dress.
And then it turned into fabric that she was just like wearing.
Yeah.
Insane.
Hi, that's the future.
That's the future.
Yeah, and chrome and self-driving cars, it's all happening now. But then there's also, you know, the majority of the world. It's easy to say it's happening now as a you know, person in America, in the United States.
Right.
But I don't know, even with our own ecosystem in the United States, there's like the top % who is definitely living that version of the future.
Yeah.
And then most of the other people are living like, you know, touching the future.
Right. And I wrote a little bit about it. Just like all of the like holographic experimental like fashion that we're seeing. And I think a lot of the like futuristic fashion that's happening right now is in high fashion.
Yeah.
And like you see it a lot on like runways or super rich people in California.
Yeah.
Like it's very much, whereas like people who aren't necessarily as like wealthy or high up in society, whatever that means, like they're not really, their fashion is much more like modern and normal, like I don't know,
practical,
common.
Common. And, well, there are those sunglasses right now that are super popular. They're kind of the early 2000s vibes, but they're always like silver and really big. We'll insert a picture. But yeah, definitely, because we were listening to music from the 70s. If people from the 70s saw how we were living now, because, you know, you think these people were recording music, and the ability to record beautifully crisp music and podcasts is all so new and so the future. Yeah,
and even just self-driving cars is an insane thing that like I don't think we really process how crazy that is.
Right? Yeah.
That we just have that, and technology has advanced so quickly that like I don't know.
The way that people aren't totally mind blown by self-driving cars.
Yeah.
People in the 70s would have been, people in the 90s would look at us now, people in the 2000s would look at us now and think that we're the future.
Even just with like FaceTime that we use all the time and have been using since like at least like I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Like that's so crazy.
My mom said that, you know, before cell phones came out, she lived plenty of time before cell phones came out, she thought that the thing was going to be you could have a phone in your car and it would still be like, you know, a phone with a cord and the buttons and whatever. She thought that's like what was in the future.
Yeah.
So that's
well, I mean,
interesting.
she was kind of right in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
I mean, some cars had that.
Yeah, that's true. More on the future and fashion and stuff like that. So I've been at EDC this weekend.
Yeah.
I was looking around. Everybody's dressed like an alien.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And everybody has lights attached to them, and they're swinging around big light things. And I was thinking, and also the screens are crazy and the lights are crazy. And I was thinking, if aliens came down, well, my first thought was, if aliens came down, they would be like, oh, they're one of us. Like, they get it.
Yeah.
You know? Which is also funny because it's just a small collection of people in
Right.
downtown Orlando where there's the rest of the world. But my other thought was, let's imagine aliens come in a more rudimentary way than in an awesome spaceship, more like they collide with us, rather.
Yeah.
So you can take away this idea that they have to be super technologically advanced. And then they could be just as intelligent, but have taken it. Did you just break something?
I just broke my ring. Sorry. One of the beads of my ring just broke, so I've been messing with it. Anyway,
Isn't that an anxiety ring, too?
It is, and I literally just destroyed it.
Super anxious. Anyways, the aliens could be they could be just as intelligent, but have taken it a totally different way.
Yeah.
They could have gone way more natural.
Totally.
But we have a crazy unnatural thing going on.
I actually wrote I had a Spanish project where we had to write about the world in 1,000 years. And I wanted to just be like, listen, Queen, it's not going to be there. Like, we are not going to still exist in 1,000 years. Like,
Right?
I don't know. But I had to write about something. I had to get in like 300 words. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to say that the aliens came in and were super environmental. And like, the only technology they use is to benefit the environment.
That's great.
And I also imagine that they would have like built-in like text messaging and like calling into their like brains, so they don't even need like phones.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. It's basically that much attached.
But
that's a good one. It's better to be hopeful that way.
I was just thinking like, I literally wrote like the aliens came to like restore the earth after humans destroyed it.
Yeah.
And they just like made the earth like, you know, Avatar, the movie with the aliens things, kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
well, that sounds great.
Yeah. I know.
Another thing that I wrote down. So we have this, again, this idealized version of the future that we all think about. Well, that idealized version of the future is always changing with every generation, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's hard, at this point, it's hard to think of what more we could have, right?
Totally.
But I think the reason that we never feel like we've fully realized that idealized version of the future is because it comes with so many horrible things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
The self-driving cars, like, they're all burning fossil fuels, whether it's, you know, out of the car itself or at the power plant that you're plugging it into.
Or the people who are making them are being so harmful to the environments that they're getting all of this material from, and even the labor, they're like,
Yeah.
dude, don't even get me started on that man.
I know. And then
But
there's also all the corruption that you have to take into account. You can't just think about the awesome cars and the cool technology and the crazy looking people.
yeah,
You know, it all has this really dark,
like flip side to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've brought this up to you quite a bit, but you know how I have this list of things that I thought were really relevant when I was a kid?
Yes.
So there's like quicksand,
Bermuda Triangle.
triangle, like sinkholes.
Oh my God. What's the one with the nails? Rusty nails? Tetanus.
Tetanus. All things that I thought were going to be a huge problem in my life, right?
Yeah.
I think I was also thinking about utopias a lot more. And I think when I was a kid, I just assumed, yeah, okay, one day, like, you know, it'll be a utopia.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we are running towards dystopia.
Oh, absolutely.
Full force running towards
Absolutely.
dystopia.
Yeah.
So,
Just crazy.
yeah, that's one thing to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I wonder, this is a multifaceted question, but I wonder what this means for mental health.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. Also, I don't know if this, like, really makes sense, but whatever. I was reading an article just a few minutes ago about, like, all of this futuristic fashion and, like, why it's kind of, like, accelerated a lot in these past few years. And the person that they were interviewing was saying that it's kind of, like, people, like, idealizing the future in a way and making it, you know,
Seem a little brighter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like the fashion that we're seeing from it is very much optimistic about the future.
Interesting.
So I feel like
yeah, that makes sense. Maybe Kanye
it's kind of
had-
like an escapism type of thing. Like,
yeah, for a whole culture to idealize. It's because it's all beautiful and it's the most beautiful people who are living this future life.
and
Yeah.
everything's very shiny and
Right?
like,
But it makes me think of when Kanye was like kind of emerging in the fashion world. He had all this futuristic-y type stuff.
Yeah.
But it was also a little dystopic because there were holes and it was all mauve. And it
Yeah.
was all weird. I think that was, an interesting thing not to give a shout out to Kanye.
Yeah, no shout outs to him on
Yeah.
this podcast.
But yeah, I think it's super interesting. I don't know. I'm going to start dressing like a goddamn pilgrim, just
And as you should.
as I should. I'll just be coming in my pilgrim garb next week. I love the word garb.
What does that mean?
Like clothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just another word for clothing?
Yeah. Or like,
I'm going to start using
garb.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Garb.
it's like the first.
It's like garbo.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like the first part of garbage. But back to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to tell, because I wonder if people in the past were just as mentally ill as people now, but you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Or if people can talk about it now, so already it feels more prevalent. Or also people are more mentally ill now because we live in such a, like, it feels like the time that we live in is so against our biology.
Yeah.
We're always
Totally.
consuming weirdly processed things and chemicals. We're interacting with
So many more people than we should be.
so many more people, all kinds of waves from different pieces of technology.
Mm-hmm.
It feels wrong to, like, on a very basic level, to not be hunting our food. And we're not using our bodies in the way that they're made to be used. And we're using our brains so much more, and you just wonder what that does.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a combination of both, though.
Yeah.
Because I do think that a lot of these mental issues, like, people have always suffered from, and, like, a lot of, like, baby boomers whose parents were, like, coming back from the war and, like,
Surely.
probably had some parental issues, had, like, these mental health problems, but just never talked about it, and were never, like, especially with, like, baby boomers and Gen X, I think is the one that comes after them. I don't know. Whichever one is between baby boomers and millennials. I think that a lot of it was just, like, don't talk about it because
Yeah.
it'll make you seem weird and, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and also, like, they'll send you to a psych ward type of thing.
Well, I was going to ask, what do you think about mental hospitals? We don't have, well, there are mental hospitals.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm-
this hospital is fully for mental people.
I'm glad that they aren't what they used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that I don't know though, because I've never been to one, so I
Right.
don't have firsthand experience.
From my experience. Yeah, I think it was a really scary thing in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of possibility for it to be a scary thing no matter what, because
Yeah.
you take vulnerable people and everyone's just trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
But then again, it's a lot of the time you get vulnerable people going into jail, and then those people are benefiting and making a buck from that, and then they're in jail
Right.
rather than actually getting
The help that they need.
Yeah, but that's a crazy
Yeah.
topic. That's a
Yeah.
hard topic to bring
Yeah,
up. It's a music
totally.
podcast. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I have to say about the future for
Yeah.
now. I don't
Should
know.
we bring up the mystery of the tiny babies?
I think we should. Yeah.
Because we have the culprit in the studio tonight.
Should I unmute my mic for this part?
Yeah, I think we can hear you. I think we're
Yeah.
getting picked up, but yeah.
Okay, so we had a Halloween party.
Yes.
Like-
Leaked a couple weeks ago. We had
Yeah.
a Halloween party.
Yes. And so after this Halloween party, our roommate Tamara goes, do you know who left this tiny baby on my mirror? And I was like, what are you talking about? And it was like a tiny little plastic baby, like literally an inch big. And I was like, what? No, that's so weird. Like, who did that? And then we kept finding them just
Yeah.
around our house. We found like 3 or 4. And so we were like, literally, where did these come from?
Well, I didn't know about them until I saw one myself also.
Yeah.
We were all standing kind of by the front door, and I was looking, and I saw something on top of a painting. And I was like, is this a little baby? And everyone was like, oh my God, yeah, there are babies in the house.
And so we found like probably like 4 of them, and we're like, this is so weird, like who did this?
Who done
and
it?
So exactly. And so we were talking about it. We accused Kate, who was on our podcast last week.
Which, funnily enough, it's not the first thing that we've accused Kate of. She gave us a puzzle for our housewarming party, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Great housewarming gift. And we were putting it together, and there was a piece that I couldn't find for the life of me, and like all of the roommates put our eyes on it, and we couldn't find it. And I was like, Kate, did you pull a prank on us? And she pranked me, and we said yes. And so I said, do you have this puzzle piece? Like, you would steal it, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, actually, no, I'm sorry, I don't know. Eventually we found it.
Yeah.
So anyways, we accused Kate.
Yeah, and I texted her, and I said, Kate, have you been pranking us? And I sent her a picture of these babies. And she was like, no, like, who put that there, LOL. And I said, no way, it wasn't you. We keep finding them everywhere. And because I thought she was like, maybe like trying to like mess with us,
Right.
like not get caught right away. And she was like, no, I promise it wasn't me who's doing this. We have a crime to solve.
You thought we were getting double pranked
Yeah.
by Kate.
So then we thought it was Max.
Yeah, because Max would get a bunch of little babies and put them in our house.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, because
I was on FaceTime with Mr. Spikel, and I was telling him about this situation. I was like, Mikey, this is the weirdest thing. Like, we keep finding these babies in our house everywhere. It happened after our Halloween party. And I was like, yeah, we thought it was Kate, but it's not. And like, we think maybe it could be Max. And Mikey's just sitting there smiling.
No, I had to, like, I put the phone like to the ceiling of my car because I was just sitting there smiling, like trying not to laugh about it.
Yeah. And then he just goes, Sarah, it was me.
yeah, Spiky hid a bunch of babies in our
And then
house.
he goes, oh yeah, there are 12 of them.
The fact that 12 is such a funny number of babies.
Yeah, because my girlfriend and I were at Party City getting stuff for our costumes, and in the super long line, it took like 10 minutes for us to get through the line, at least. Probably like 20, actually. But anyways, she looks over, and she sees the pack of babies, and she was like, should we get those? And I was like, you know what? Why not? It was like a couple bucks. And I just thought it would be a funny prank, so we hid them around the house. And I gave them to like a few other people too.
I was gonna say, he also revealed on the FaceTime that other people were in on it too.
I really haven't been so genuinely pranked in
I
a
know.
long time.
Like, we were there at this party the whole time. Did
Had no
not
idea.
have a clue.
No, I hid multiple with y'all like in the room with me.
That's crazy.
We're like, Mikey's been stretching kind of weird today.
Yeah, and he put one in our garage.
Which, that was dirty. That was the last one I
Yeah.
found.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So that was a fun little.
I don't know if I told Jack about this, but he comes over this weekend, and I was like, oh, you need to look at these little babies. And he was like, I saw them, and I hid some of them.
Yeah.
And then, but they were pretty obvious.
Yeah. And now one is on our disco ball.
Yeah, he's
On the
a
top
little
of our disco
staple.
ball. Yeah.
Did you like tape it there, or it's just
No.
shown up
No, it's
there?
just secured in there.
It's just
Okay.
built right
you
to
can
sit right in
you
there.
can spin it still.
Yeah.
The baby will stay put.
Baby will stay.
Yeah. So we just had a tiny babies around our house. They've become part of our decor.
Yeah, we kind of had a tiny baby week.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Babies, mental illness, the future.
I mean, we've pretty much covered it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we just want a song to close us out with. Man, Spiky, you got a song to close us out with?
A 70s song,
70s
perchance.
song.
Oh, real quick while he's thinking about that, I have an album recommendation.
Oh, I totally forgot.
My album recommendation is 2020 by Joe, spelled DJO.
Sick way to spell Joe.
Amazing album.
Okay.
It's actually the guy who plays Steve in Stranger Things.
There you go.
And he's been releasing music, and that album is so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
My recommendation for the week is to go follow my brother on Instagram.
totally.
I'm not even sure of what his Instagram name is right now. It could be Bill or William. Could be various last names. Let me look it up because he's a funny guy. He's doing his best out in LA. He's making jokes. He's standing up those jokes. And you can go give him a follow. Let's see. You can give him a follow at William, WILLIAM.Kosh, KOSH, William.Kosh. And if you're in LA, shout out LA.
Shout out LA again.
And
we can never get enough shout outs for LA, honestly.
Actually, and while we're here, shout out LA.
Totally.
Another one. Just another one. All right, Mikey.
So the song to close out is "Go Your Own Way" by
Oh,
Fleetwood Mac.
totally. I
Yeah.
sang this song to Mikey earlier.
Perfect.
Yeah. And he didn't know that it was a 70's theme. So he was like, Sarah, why are you singing Go Your Own Way to me right now? When we were on FaceTime earlier.
Oh yeah.
I like had just woken up, and Mikey was like talking about like when he's a guest, like what song to bring. And I was like, Mikey, and then I started singing Go Your Own Way to him.
Right. That's
And
perfect.
he was just so confused. And
That's
I was like
perfect.
half asleep. It was really funny. Well, thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope you guys all have a great week. I hope this is a good listen for everyone.
Have a great week, and maybe drink some apple juice.
Yeah.
It might make your week better.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do.